Before the world asks anything of you, before notifications light up your screen, before your mind is pulled in a dozen directions, there is a quiet moment that decides everything. Most people never notice it. They wake up already late, already tense, already behind. They move through their mornings on autopilot, reacting instead of choosing, rushing instead of grounding. But what if the most important battle of your day is won or lost before you even leave your bed? Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, not your circumstances, not your income, not the people around you, your thoughts." And here's the part most people miss. The quality of your thoughts is shaped earliest, before the noise begins. In a world that constantly tells you how to feel, what to desire, what to fear, imagine possessing the ability to remain calm anyway. Imagine finding steadiness when everything feels uncertain, clarity when others feel overwhelmed, purpose when the world feels scattered. That is not weakness. That is not indifference. That is power. And it is exactly what Stoicism was designed to cultivate. This is not a history lesson. This is not ancient philosophy locked away in dusty books. This is about you, your life, your mornings, your mind, right now. Because modern life is loud. It demands attention before you are ready. It pressures you to perform before you are centered. It rewards speed, not depth, and slowly, almost invisibly. It trains you to live in a constant state of reaction. Stoicism offers another way, not by escaping the world, but by meeting it with an unshakable inner foundation. This video is about transforming your mornings from something you enjoy into something that anchors you. A launchpad, not for productivity alone, but for purpose, resilience, and quiet confidence. If you have ever woken up feeling tired before the day even begins, if you have ever felt overwhelmed by the sheer noise of life, if you have ever wondered whether peace is even possible in a world that never slows down, stay with me, because what you're about to hear is not about doing more. It's about becoming aligned, and that changes everything. Let's begin with a truth the Stoics understood deeply. A life without direction does not collapse all at once. It erodes slowly, through small, unfocused days. This is why the Stoics believed that every action should be intentional, not random, not reactive, but guided by an inner compass. Marcus Aurelius was not just enduring hardship with discipline. He was asking a deeper question every single day. What is my role here? Not in some abstract, grand sense, but today. This idea aligns beautifully with a concept from Japan called Ikigai. It sounds complex, but it is deceptively simple. Ikigai is the place where four things meet: what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what you can be rewarded for. It is your reason for being. Now imagine waking up each morning with even a faint sense of that alignment. Not excitement driven by adrenaline, but a quiet pull forward. A reason to rise that makes hitting the snooze button feel unnecessary. Marcus Aurelius believed that every human being exists to contribute something meaningful, that we are not here by accident, that our days are not meant to be spent drifting. He urged himself, again and again, to approach each day as an opportunity to fulfill his role with integrity, not perfectly, but honestly. Ikigai is not about chasing pleasure. It is about coherence. When what you do aligns with who you are, life stops feeling like friction. Even routine tasks gain weight. Even challenges feel purposeful. And happiness, real happiness, stops being something you chase and becomes something that accompanies you. But here's the part most people misunderstand. Ikigai is not found overnight. It is uncovered gradually through reflection. You ask yourself uncomfortable questions. What truly matters to me? What drains me? What energizes me? Where do my strengths actually lie? What does the world need that I can offer? The answers do not arrive all at once. And that is the point. This is not a destination. It is a process, a slow convergence. And your mornings are where that convergence begins. Now, here is where Stoic wisdom becomes intensely practical. The Stoics believed that the quality of your morning is determined the night before. Think about that for a moment. Most people treat sleep as an afterthought, something squeezed in after entertainment, distraction, and scrolling. But the Stoics understood cause and effect. A restless night creates a scattered mind. A scattered mind creates a reactive morning. A reactive morning creates a reactive life. This is why preparation matters, not rigid discipline, not self-punishment. Preparation, limiting stimulation before sleep is not about denial. It is about signaling safety to your nervous system. Writing down tomorrow's priorities is not about control. It is about direction, a few deep. Slow breaths before bed are not fluff. They are physiological resets. The Stoic prepares the ground so the morning does not begin in chaos. Because the morning is sacred territory. It is the only part of the day that belongs to you before the world arrives. And yet, most people give it away instantly. They wake up and reach for their phone. News, messages, deadlines, other people's emotions. And just like that, they enter reaction mode. Marcus Aurelius had no notifications, but he had distractions. Power, politics, pressure, and still, he emphasized attention. Because the quality of your attention determines the quality of your life. The Stoic morning is intentionally quiet. No digital noise, no external urgency. Not to avoid reality, but to face it with clarity. Silence is not emptiness, it is structure in stillness. You remember what matters. In quiet, you regain authorship over your mind. This is not wasted time. It is an investment. And now, here is the habit most people never practice, but the Stoic never skips. Before the day begins, the Stoic sets boundaries. Not goals, not to-do lists. Boundaries, he decides, calmly and deliberately. What will I not react to today? What distractions will not enter my mind? What emotions will not dictate my behavior? This takes less than a minute, but it protects the entire day. Because if you do not draw the line early, the world will draw it for you. The Stoic does not wake up available to everyone. He wakes up available to his values, and when pressure comes, as it always does, he is not surprised. He already knows where the line is. Calm replaces urgency. Choice replaces impulse. This is how inner control is preserved as you think about tomorrow morning. Don't ask how early you should wake up. Ask something more important. Who do I want to be when the day begins speaking to me? Because mornings do not just start days. They train lives, and the way you rise is the way you live. The way you rise in the morning, as we've seen, is shaped long before the sun comes up. And that brings us to a truth most people overlook. Your morning does not begin when you wake up. It begins with how you choose to end the night before. It's easy to stay awake until the early hours. One more episode, one more scroll, one more glance at a glowing screen until your eyes feel heavy and your thoughts blur together. But pause for a moment and ask yourself, how does that really prepare you for the next day? Your mind needs space to slow down. It needs time to process what you've experienced, to release what no longer serves you, and to recharge for what lies ahead. This is where a deliberate pre-sleep routine becomes essential, not as a form of harsh self-discipline that drains the joy out of your evenings, but as an act of respect toward yourself. Imagine treating your evening with the same care and intention you would give to anything truly important in your life, because that is exactly what it is. Creating a calm, intentional space at night supports your well-being and quietly aligns you with the day that is coming. For example, limiting screen time during the final hour before sleep is not about denying yourself comfort or pleasure. It's about giving your mind a clear signal that it's time to slow down. When the noise fades, sleep comes more easily. And when sleep is deeper, waking up feels lighter. Even a small act, like writing down your top 3 priorities for tomorrow, can completely change how the next day begins. This simple gesture creates direction. It tells your mind, you don't need to hold everything tonight. We already know where we're going, and this is where the Stoic mindset truly reveals its strength. Stoicism teaches us to recognize what lies within our control and to release what does not. We may not control every interruption, every demand, or every unexpected turn tomorrow might bring, but we can influence how we enter the day. And that influence begins the night before. A few moments of deep breathing or quiet meditation before sleep are not empty rituals. They are signals: inhaling slowly, exhaling fully. These simple actions lower stress, calm the nervous system, and gently guide the body into rest. It's like pressing a reset button, not just for the body, but for the mind and emotions as well. So when morning arrives, you don't wake up already burdened. You wake up prepared in today's always-on world. This may sound difficult, even unrealistic, but it is absolutely vital. Picture this for a moment. The first minutes of your morning untouched by notifications. No emails, no social media, no breaking news pulling at your attention. Just you, your thoughts, and the quiet stillness of dawn. That kind of beginning is not just refreshing, it is empowering. Marcus Aurelius lived in a world filled with pressure, responsibility, and constant demands. He wasn't distracted by digital notifications, but he certainly faced his own version of noise. And still, he emphasized one principle above all else: intentional focus. He understood something that feels even more relevant today. The quality of your attention determines the quality of your life. So how do we apply this ancient wisdom now? It begins by creating a morning space that is intentionally free from digital intrusion. This isn't about rejecting technology. It's about refusing to let it dictate the opening moments of your day. Because the moment you reach for your phone, you enter a reactive state. responding to other people's priorities, their emotions, their urgency instead. Give yourself a different kind of gift, a peaceful start. Imagine dedicating the first hour of your morning to something that nourishes your inner world. Reading a few pages of a meaningful book, sitting quietly in reflection, writing a few thoughts in a journal, or simply holding a warm cup of coffee while watching the light change outside your window. This is not wasted time, it is an investment. By avoiding unnecessary distractions, you are not just reducing stress. You are building a reserve of calm and focus that carries you through the rest of the day. Making the most of your morning is not about adding more tasks to your schedule. It's about removing what doesn't belong, subtracting noise, eliminating clutter, prioritizing what truly matters before the world starts pulling at you. This is Stoicism in practice. You may not control the flood of emails waiting for you, but you can control when and how you engage with them. So tomorrow morning, challenge yourself. Begin the day on your terms. Resist the urge to dive into the digital world immediately. Anchor yourself in the present moment. Savor the quiet potential that the morning holds. Because every day is a new opportunity to live with greater intention, greater serenity, and closer alignment with the person you aspire to become. And that, at its core, is what Stoicism has always been about: understanding what lies within your control and choosing to act there with clarity, purpose, and quiet strength. If the night prepares the ground and the morning protects your focus, then consistency is what turns intention into character. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, they were never only talking about enduring hardship with a stiff upper lip. They were advocating for something far more active, a way of engaging with life deliberately, a way of taking responsibility not just for what happens to us, but for how we respond. Waking up consistently is one of the simplest practices that embodies this philosophy. It is a quiet declaration, a declaration that you are not at the mercy of impulse, comfort, or external pressure, that you have a say in how your day begins. Stoicism teaches us to build a life step by step, finding contentment in each small action. Because meaningful change does not arrive all at once. It is assembled slowly, through habits that seem insignificant at first. Waking up at the same time every morning might sound trivial, but in reality, it is a cornerstone habit. It creates a stable foundation for the entire day. Instead of rushing the moment your eyes open, you begin with a sense of control, a sense of direction, a quiet confidence that you are starting on your own terms, of course. Consistency is not easy. It was never meant to be in the early days. Waking up at the same time each morning can feel like climbing uphill. Your bed feels warmer than ever. The weight of sleep presses heavier. And the temptation to hit snooze just once more can feel almost irresistible. This is where the Stoic practice of perseverance enters. Perseverance is not about forcing yourself through pain. It is about remembering why you chose this path. It is about holding in mind the person you are becoming through this discipline. Instead of focusing on the comfort of the moment, you look beyond it, toward the long-term stability this habit creates. Becoming a morning person, then, is not really about mornings at all. It is about embodying the qualities that carry through the rest of your day: resilience, focus, Intentional action, it is a practice in self-mastery, in aligning what you do with what you value. And like all Stoic practices, it unfolds one morning at a time. So how do you make consistency your ally? It begins the night before. Set a clear intention. Remind yourself why waking up at a specific time matters to you. Is it for quiet moments of reading or reflection, time for meditation or movement, or simply the ability to begin the day without rushing or chaos? Then, shape an environment that supports this intention. Go to bed slightly earlier. Let natural light enter the room in the morning. Create cues that gently guide you forward instead of forcing you awake. And when it gets difficult, because it will, return to a core Stoic belief. We have power over our will and acting in accordance with our principles, especially when it's uncomfortable, is how character is forged. Each morning you rise at your chosen time. You are doing more than starting the day. You are reinforcing a promise to yourself, a commitment to growth, a commitment to living with intention. Amid all this talk of discipline and consistency, there is something essential to remember. We are human, and being human means we are complex creatures. Our brains are wired to seek comfort, to choose the path of least resistance, to chase instant gratification. That is not a flaw. It is simply part of our nature, which is exactly why building new habits can feel so challenging at first. Yet there is something deeply freeing in acknowledging this truth. Stoicism does not demand harsh self-judgment. It calls for understanding, paired with resolve. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to be patient with his own shortcomings. He knew that punishing himself for every misstep was not the path to growth. Instead, he encouraged a different approach. Recognize the error, learn from it, then let it go. This mindset is crucial when cultivating a new morning routine or any meaningful habit. The first few days, or even weeks, can be uncomfortable. Your alarm rings, and every fiber of your being wants to stay wrapped in the warmth of the bed. And yes, there will be mornings when you give in. That's okay. What matters is what happens next. Do you spiral into guilt and self-criticism, or do you pause, forgive yourself, and treat the next morning as a fresh opportunity? Forgiveness and patience with yourself are not signs of weakness. They are signs of wisdom. They mean you are committed for the long run, prepared to navigate setbacks with grace. This Stoic practice of self-compassion is about understanding your nature and still choosing to move forward, one steady step at a time. Once discipline takes root and self-compassion keeps you steady, the work becomes quieter but no less important. Working with yourself, rather than against yourself, is at the heart of Stoic practice. It means gently guiding your habits toward the life you aspire to live, instead of forcing change through pressure or self-criticism. Taking it easy on yourself does not mean lowering standards. It does not mean making excuses or allowing yourself to drift endlessly away from your goals. It means recognizing a deeper truth. Growth is a process shaped by learning curves, missteps, and moments where progress feels slower than expected. Every new day arrives carrying both challenges and opportunities. And it is within this daily renewal that strength and resilience are formed. So as you continue working toward earlier mornings or toward any new habit, Remember this. Be kind to yourself, celebrate the small victories, learn from the setbacks, and greet each day with a quiet willingness to try again. This journey is not only about becoming a morning person. It is about cultivating a mindset capable of facing life's difficulties with both determination and kindness. Consider something as simple as placing your alarm clock across the room. On the surface, it may seem like a practical trick, a way to make snoozing more difficult. But beneath that simplicity, it is a statement, a declaration that you intend to start the day on your terms. When you rise despite the comfort of your bed, you are practicing resistance not against rest, but against inertia, a small act of defiance against the pull of ease and habit, a quiet step toward meeting the day with intention. In the same way, making your bed each morning might feel insignificant. After all, you may be the only one who ever sees it. Yet this simple ritual is far more meaningful than smoothing sheets or arranging pillows. It is an act of care, a way of telling yourself that your environment matters, and that how you engage with it matters too. By creating order around you, you reinforce order within you. You shape a space that reflects the respect and discipline you are cultivating internally. These small victories, as Marcus Aurelius might remind us, are the true building blocks of a disciplined life. They are the everyday choices so easy to overlook, yet powerful when repeated. Each time you choose to follow through on these simple acts, you cast a quiet vote for the kind of person you want to become, someone who values discipline, order, respect for themselves and their surroundings. But why focus on such small actions? Because they are within everyone's reach. Not all of us can control the major upheavals of life, the unexpected turns, the forces that arrive without warning. But we can control how we begin the day. We can control how we treat our immediate surroundings. And we can control how we prepare ourselves for whatever lies ahead. This is Stoicism in action, focusing on what is within your power and releasing what is not. These practices are not about discipline for discipline's sake. They are about preparing the mind for greater challenges. If you can commit to these small, daily acts, you train yourself to honor commitments in more significant areas of life. You strengthen your ability to follow through, to remain steady under pressure, to face adversity with calm and composure. These are not dramatic gestures, they are quiet ones. Yet they define the Stoic ideal. So when you reflect on discipline in your own life, start small. Look for everyday moments to practice self-control and order. Because it is in these early, quiet hours when you choose to rise, to act with intention, and to face the day deliberately, that character is forged. These practices are not chores. They are not obligations. They are rituals. Rituals that infuse your day with purpose and your life with direction and meaning. And here, the journey becomes even more powerful. Because growth is rarely meant to be walked alone. Sharing your goals with someone who both supports you and holds you accountable can dramatically increase your chances of success. What begins as a personal effort becomes a shared commitment. An accountability partner is not there to judge you. They are there to remind you, especially on mornings, when the warmth of the bed feels difficult to leave. Why you started. They encourage you when progress feels slow. They celebrate your wins, no matter how small. This relationship is mutual, a space built on honesty, encouragement, and the shared understanding that both of you are striving to become better versions of yourselves. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus all emphasized the importance of community in the development of virtue. They believed wisdom grows stronger when it is shared, and discipline becomes more sustainable when it is supported. Discipline strengthens the individual, but perspective deepens the journey. And this is where Stoic wisdom expands beyond the self, learning from one another, and drawing strength from the simple knowledge that you are not alone in your struggle, has always been a quiet pillar of Stoic thought. Finding an accountability partner in today's world is a modern expression of this timeless idea. It acknowledges something essential. While the path towards self-discipline and purpose is personal, it does not have to be solitary. An accountability partner brings more than reminders. They bring perspective. They help you notice blind spots in your routine or patterns in your behavior that you might never see on your own. Sometimes, growth does not require more effort, only a clearer view. This partnership is not limited to checking whether you woke up on time or completed your morning meditation. It goes deeper. It is about having honest conversations about what is working and what quietly isn't. It is about reflecting together, adjusting when necessary, and supporting one another through the inevitable fluctuations of motivation and energy. So how do you find such a person? Look for someone who shares your commitment to growth and self-improvement. This could be a close friend, a family member, or even a trusted colleague. What matters most is trust. Choose someone with whom you can speak openly about your goals, your struggles, and your progress. Once that connection is established, clarity becomes important. Be clear about what you are trying to achieve. Be honest about the kind of support you need. Set simple, regular check-ins and show up for each other. Offer encouragement when progress feels slow. Share insight when patterns repeat and when necessary. Give a gentle nudge back toward intention. This relationship is not about external pressure. It is about mutual elevation, about creating a shared space where honesty, vulnerability, and encouragement are not only allowed, but valued. Within that space, your morning routines and broader life goals begin to intertwine. What once felt like an isolated effort becomes a collective commitment to living with greater discipline, clarity, and fulfillment. And from here, Stoic thought invites us to consider something even deeper: the practice of reflecting on mortality. For the Stoics, remembering that life is finite was never meant to be morbid. It was a call to action, a reminder not to waste time on trivialities, petty resentments, or endless distractions. Each morning we wake up is not guaranteed. It is a gift, and with that gift comes an opportunity to engage with life meaningfully, to contribute something positive to the world around us, and to continue shaping ourselves with intention. Marcus Aurelius wrote often about the fleeting nature of life, not to induce fear, but to liberate the mind. By keeping the end in view, he freed himself from unnecessary concerns and focused instead on his duties as a leader and as a human being striving for virtue. This awareness brings clarity. When time feels precious, priorities sharpen. We naturally focus on the people and relationships that truly matter. We choose our actions more carefully. We speak with greater honesty. And we invest our energy where it actually counts. When the idea of mortality enters our morning routines, the day transforms. It is no longer just another day. It becomes a day we have been given, one that cannot be taken for granted. This realization quietly reshapes how we spend our time, the activities we choose, and the legacy we hope to build. It reminds us to live fully, to love deeply, and to leave the world, in however small a way, better than we found it. This Stoic practice also offers perspective when challenges arise. When we remember that our time is limited, daily annoyances lose much of their power. Obstacles feel smaller, setbacks become temporary, and long-term purpose regains its place at the center. Resilience grows naturally. So how can this principle be woven into daily life? It begins simply with a moment of reflection each morning. Consider the day ahead as a blank canvas. Ask yourself, quietly and honestly, if this were my last day, would I be proud of how I am choosing to spend it? This question is not meant to provoke anxiety or fear. It is meant to awaken appreciation, an appreciation for the present moment, for the chance to live, to learn, and to love right now. By embracing the Stoic practice of remembering death, we are not fixating on the end. We are anchoring ourselves in the present, and in doing so, we reclaim our lives from complacency, choosing instead to live each day with intention, purpose, and quiet gratitude. When we remember that time is finite, each morning begins to feel different, not heavier, but more meaningful. So let us greet each morning with a quiet awareness. This day is a gift, an opportunity to shape a life that is rich in meaning and aligned with our deepest values. This is the essence of living stoically. It is not about squeezing more out of life, but about making wiser use of the limited time we have, to live with intention, to act with virtue, and to leave behind a legacy that reflects who we truly were. We are often told to focus only on the positive, to visualize success, happiness, and ideal outcomes in the hope of attracting them into our lives. The Stoics offered a different perspective, not darker, not pessimistic, but deeply practical. They practiced what is known as negative visualization. Despite the name, this practice is not about expecting the worst. It is a tool for resilience, for preparation, and, paradoxically, for a deeper appreciation of the present. The essence of negative visualization is simple. From time to time, you imagine the challenges or losses you might one day face. These could be small inconveniences, missing a bus, getting caught in the rain, plans falling apart, or they could be more significant hardships, the loss of a job, the fading of a relationship, or the absence of someone you love. The goal is not to dwell on these possibilities in a way that creates fear or anxiety. The Stoics were clear about this. The purpose is rehearsal, a calm, deliberate mental rehearsal of how you would respond if such moments were to arise. How would you steady yourself? What values would guide you? What strengths would you rely on? By imagining these scenarios in advance, you prepare both emotionally and mentally. Life's inevitable ups and downs become less destabilizing. You are no longer caught off guard. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus all believed that by contemplating the temporary nature of everything outside our control, we could cultivate a deeper sense of peace. This practice trains the mind to focus where true power lies, in our responses, our attitudes, and our actions. When negative visualization becomes part of your morning routine, it changes how you step into the day. Instead of walking out the door blind to potential challenges, you are quietly prepared. It is like a mental training session. You strengthen your resilience muscles before they are ever needed. So when life inevitably throws a curveball, you are not knocked off your feet. You recognize the moment. You've been here before, at least in your mind, and you can draw upon the strategies you've already rehearsed to navigate through it with steadiness. There is also a beautiful, almost paradoxical effect to this practice. By imagining life without certain comforts or people you now take for granted, your awareness sharpens when you return to the present moment. You do so with renewed appreciation. The warmth of your home, the reliability of your body, the presence of people in your life, things that once felt ordinary quietly regain their value. Negative visualization is not about living in fear of loss. It is about using the possibility of loss to deepen gratitude for what exists right now. So how do you practice this in a healthy, constructive way? Begin simply. Take a few moments in the morning to reflect on potential challenges the day might bring, or on broader uncertainties of the future. Visualize how you would ideally respond. What composure would you aim for? What lessons could you learn? How might this experience shape you for the better? Then, just as importantly, let the visualization go. Do not carry it as a burden. Step into the day with a quiet sense of preparedness and a deeper appreciation for your current circumstances. And as the day comes to a close, the Stoics remind us of one final practice that completes this cycle: gratitude. Incorporating gratitude into your life, especially at the end of the day, can profoundly transform both your well-being and your outlook. Keeping a gratitude journal is a simple yet powerful habit. Before sleep, take a few moments to reflect on the day and write down a handful of things you are grateful for. These do not need to be extraordinary. A kind gesture from a stranger, a quiet moment of clarity, the completion of a difficult task, or the simple comfort of your bed waiting to hold you. By writing these moments down, you gently shift your focus away from what is missing, away from what went wrong, and toward the abundance that already exists. This practice aligns perfectly with Stoic teaching. It reminds us to focus on what we have, rather than what we lack, on what is within our control, rather than what is not. And in doing so, it sets the stage for a calmer mind and a more peaceful night's rest. As the day comes to a close and the mind begins to settle, everything quietly returns to one simple truth: how we end the day shapes how we begin the next. Ending the day with gratitude does more than calm the mind. It frees us, free from the weight of unfulfilled desires, free from lingering frustrations, free from the habit of replaying what went wrong. It allows us to close the day on a note of peace, regardless of the challenges we faced. Why gratitude? Because it gently reaffirms the good in our lives. It helps us find steadiness even in turmoil, and it nurtures a mindset that can recognize opportunity and meaning in every circumstance. This nightly practice of gratitude creates a ripple effect. It doesn't only influence how we sleep, it reshapes how we wake up. The first thoughts of the morning begin to shift, not groans at the sound of the alarm, but a quiet curiosity. What might today offer? What small moments will reveal themselves as something to appreciate? And as this awareness grows, it naturally extends beyond ourselves. Gratitude softens our relationships. We become more attentive to the people around us, more expressive in our appreciation, more present in our interactions. It deepens our connection to the world itself. Suddenly, beauty is no longer rare or dramatic. It appears in ordinary moments, a brief conversation, a shaft of morning light, the stillness before the day begins. So as we reflect on all the strategies we've explored to enrich our mornings, and, by extension, our lives, we cannot overlook the power of ending the day with gratitude. It embodies the Stoic pursuit of a good life, not one defined by status or possessions, but by inner peace, contentment, and a grounded appreciation for the present moment. And here, everything comes full circle. Because when gratitude closes the day, clarity opens the next. This is where one final habit quietly reinforces them all. Before you sleep, and again when you wake, set a simple boundary. Decide what will not own your attention tomorrow. What distractions will wait? What worries will not dictate your mood? This small act of boundary setting creates space for intention in the morning, space for focus during the day, and space for gratitude at night. As we conclude this journey through the 10 Stoic-inspired practices, one thing becomes clear. Each step is more than a task. Each habit is more than a routine. They are pathways toward a life lived with intention, with resilience, with steady gratitude. Embracing these practices does not mean every day will be perfect, but it does mean every day will be met by a stronger, calmer, more grounded version of you. You already possess the power to transform your mornings, and in doing so, to transform your life, to live in alignment with the Stoic ideals of virtue, wisdom, and contentment. And remember, this is only the beginning. There is an entire world of Stoic wisdom waiting to support you on your path toward a more meaningful, intentional, and fulfilled life. If this journey resonated with you, and you'd like to explore deeper insights into Stoic philosophy and practical living, you'll find a curated playlist right here on the screen. It's filled with reflections, stories, and tools designed to help you apply these ideas in everyday life. If you found value in this video, please consider liking it, subscribing to the channel, and sharing your thoughts in the comments below. Your experiences, reflections, and questions are always welcome here. Thank you truly for spending this time with Stoic Havenway. Here's to mornings filled with purpose, days lived with intention, and a life grounded in gratitude. See you soon.